Is that in focus? Hello? I guess that's in focus. Now this review slash follow-up is more just my general thoughts after having the Ninebot for a while. If you do want a hands-on review, I can really recommend one that I watched before I bought mine. Definitely the best review video of the ES2 that's on YouTube. I'll link it down in the description. I don't remember the name of it right now or the guy that made it. Definitely go check out his review in the comment section below. It's very in-depth, very detailed, very awesome. Hello everybody, my name is Nemo. I am from the lovely country of Denmark, and this is going to be my update on the Ninebot ES2 scooter that I've had for about 3 weeks now. Now I've clocked out over 250 kilometers on this, and I'll tell you my opinions on it so far. Now I do have the extra battery pack. The benefit of getting this battery is that it will extend the range. The extended range with the battery attached is going to be 45 kilometers, which I have found to be pretty accurate. And it holds up just fine for me. It seems that about 45 kilometers is about what I'm gonna get. Now I haven't emptied the battery completely. I've only gotten it down to about 30%, but it seems if I do simple calculations with the percentages that it takes, it seems about right for me. Now the scooter itself has solid rubber wheels. The wheels are, so there's no air in them. They are quite comfortable to ride, I think. You definitely do feel going over rubble and cracks in the street, especially if you have to go up and down sidewalks and stuff like that. Now that's not to say that you can't do it. Now I've been taking up and down sidewalks just fine. The scooter does have front and rear suspension, which helps a lot in combating going over these bumps and cracks on the street that you will find in most places around the world. Now, the only problem that I've had so far is that it starts to become a little bit squeaky. Now, this is probably something that you can fix with normal VD40 and just give it a quick spray. I haven't had enough time to do that myself yet, but it's definitely on my list. Other than that, the speed and the reliability of this thing has been top-notch. I really haven't noticed anything. The one minor thing that I have noticed is that for the first few days, I'd say about 4 or 5 days after I had it, it got me up to about 33 kilometers an hour. I got it up at one point to 34. Due to my weight not being very much, I guess that's normal. But now that we're 3 weeks in, I get it up to about 31 or 32, which is still good given that the advertised maximum speed with the extra battery is 30 kilometers an hour. So still definitely plenty for me cruising around Copenhagen. Now the primary use for me has been going to and from work. I live in Copenhagen, as I've said, and I have about a 5.5 kilometer commute to work. Now, before I got the scooter, I would bike. I would bike on nice days where it's not too windy, it's not too cold. Right now it's the peak of summertime, and we have about late 20s, early 30s degrees, so it's super warm outside. And this is perfect conditions for taking out the scooter. When I did take the bus and the metro to work, I had about 30 to 35 minutes, 40 minutes on a bad traffic day commute each way. After getting the scooter, I now just use the bike path. For those of you who don't know, Copenhagen is probably the bike capital of the world. We have way more bikes than we have cars, and in peak hours, that being in the morning, people going to work, and in the afternoon, people coming home from work, you're gonna have a lot of bike traffic. Like, there's no way that you can just sit on the bike lane and throttle it, which is a shame, but that being said, my commute to work and from like each way has been cut from at least 30 minutes down to, depending on traffic, and I say traffic, by traffic I mean bikes, I mean how many bikes there are and what time I leave home. Somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes each way. So let's say on a good day, I've actually had it down to 13 minutes one time. And that means I save somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes each way. That's half an hour to 40 minutes per day that I save in travel time. So the battery has been pretty reliable for me. Charging is still a breeze. I haven't, as I said, I haven't emptied the battery completely yet because honestly, my main use is to and from work. And then if I'm cruising around the city, that's fine. But definitely planning to last me 1 or 2 days on a battery of going to and from work, and if I'm cruising around as well. If I'm just going to and from work, I could probably get it to 3 or 4 days. But that being said, I like being on the safe side, so what I do is I just plug it in the charger, let it charge overnight. Charging time for me is about 4 or 5 hours going on a full charge. That being me being down to about 20% at my lowest. I will say I was super surprised about the weight of the thing. Reading about it online, and I read that it was 16 kilos, and I try to do some calculations in my head, like, oh, how much is 60 kilos, and you try to find something to compare it to that you carry in your everyday life to see how much of a hassle it would be. To be honest, I wouldn't want to carry this thing up and down stairs. I guess the extra battery adds about 1 or 1.5 kilo to it. So it definitely doesn't make it better. Also, what the extra battery does is it blocks up a lot of that space of the bracket where you would usually carry when the scooter is folded. It would be easy to just lift, but since the battery is there and it takes up a big chunky part, you basically have to hold either all the way down near where the front wheel is or up where the handle is. Or one of each, but in any case, not super handy. I did see some promotional videos where folding it up and people would drag it kind of like a suitcase. So you can do this when you fold it down, lift it up by the handle. It's not super convenient. As you can see, you can't really fit your fingers around the middle, so you would have to either grab the right or the left, or just below the handle, which is generally what I tend to do. Still, you're lifting one of the wheels. Most of the weight is still going to be lifted by you, since the wheel that is still dragging on the ground is very easy to rotate. It will rotate out, so you really have to hold on, especially if you want to hold it upright. I've pretty much given up on that. It's not like you can fold it and then lean it against the wall. That's not going to work because the wheel will slide out and the scooter will fall. That being said, I do live in an apartment where I have elevator access up and down. I do feel like the extra 30 seconds it takes for me to get out with the scooter is definitely worth it wherever I'm going. The ease of having the scooter just far outdoes all the waiting for buses, not being able to go exactly where you want, but you can take a bus or a metro to a station nearby and then walk the rest of the way. I mean, having the scooter has just been absolutely fantastic, and the ability and ease that you have to taking it inside, whether it's your office or your school, when you get there, to make sure it doesn't get stolen, put it next to your desk. That's definitely a huge plus. Now, a lot of people have asked me about my fear of getting this thing stolen. In total, for the scooter itself plus the battery, I paid about 8,000 something Danish krone. I'll put the number on the screen, and the equivalent of US dollars and euros. So it's an expensive toy. I mean, you can get a lot cheaper electric skateboards, which is what's the most popular at the moment. But the benefit to having this is that you can fit a bike lock chain through the back wheels. So if you are going to a grocery store, or you have to leave the scooter unattended at a metro station or anywhere else, you can take, I have a bike lock in my backpack. You can just yank that out, put it through the back wheel and chain it to a light post or anything like this. The software lock that the scooter has is definitely a nifty feature. You can lock it from your app, and basically if you move the scooter, the brakes will kick in and the scooter will start beeping and vibrating, and so will your phone. Although I found that the phone will only start vibrating if you're close enough to the scooter. Definitely a nifty feature, but it's not going to prevent anybody from just picking up the scooter and running away. Now, one thing that really surprised me about this thing is the speed. Oh my god, it's fast. I mean, before I bought this, I was looking a lot into electric skateboards, scooters, and equivalent things like this. One wheels and electric motorcycles. The advertised top speed here and what I've reached is about 20 or 21 miles per hour, which is just under what you'll get for most electric skateboards. Get about 22 miles an hour. The speed really surprised me. Mostly, actually, what surprised me is the torque. When I got on this thing, bear in mind, I am a loud guy, and I hammered the throttle in the fastest mode. You do get like knocked back a little bit. It's strong, and it surprises most people. I've had friends try this thing out, and they're scared of it. Now, the most fun thing about having a speedy vehicle like this is going on the bike lane here in Copenhagen. You have so many people on like racing bicycles in their spandex suits. If you're on this thing, you're the king of the bike lane. What I'm saying is there's no better feeling than overtaking a guy in a spandex. I mean, I haven't been overtaken by anybody on my scooter. I know that there are many electric vehicles out there that could easily overtake my scooter, and also people on racing bikes that could do it. But the bike lanes of Copenhagen are so dense and so packed, especially during rush hours to and from work. People are usually just cruising at a nice 15 to 20 kilometers an hour, and when you come in the fast lane at 32 kilometers an hour, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. It's great. It is so definitely the best purchase that I've done in a long time, and I continue to be very happy with it. Now, the helmet that I have here, there's a reason why I brought it and took it into this video, is because I guess depending on where you are, but in Copenhagen at least, I bought the scooter from an online store, and it seems that Ninebot were having a campaign where they would also send one of these very beautiful bike helmet from Leval. Now, Leval, I haven't heard about this company before, but it's a very high quality helmet. It has a little cap here on the front, which is made of real leather. It does have an adjustable strap at the back. It is very comfortable. Now, the cool thing about this helmet is it's a smart helmet. Aligned along the back are LED lights. And so there's one light. Let me just turn it on. So you hold the button on the back for 3 seconds to turn it on. There's a little charging port here on the back, and just below the charging port is a power button. When you power this thing on, it will blink every few seconds, which is very good for riding in the evening and making people around you alert and aware of your position. Now let me just give you guys a closer look at this thing. It looks pretty fucking good. I mean, it's very modern. It's got a sleek look to it. It's not a skater helmet by any means, but the reason why I think you guys should get this is because when you're riding a scooter, and especially when you're riding at these speeds at 32, 34, 35 or whatever kilometers an hour, it's not going to be very safe to like go on one hand and signal if you're turning or stopping. What this cool thing does is it comes with a little remote. This remote can be easily attached to a handlebar, for example, on a bicycle, or on the handlebar of the Ninebot scooter. So what this helps is when you're going fast and you want to turn, signaling when you're turning is very important. If you don't signal, you're going to have a bad time. People are going to yell at you, you're going to get hurt, other people are going to get hurt. Always signal. Signal when you're stopping, signal when you're turning, that's for sure. So what this helps with, and how the turning works, is if I want to turn, I'm just going to press the button and the helmet is going to signal like this. And you can do this with the other direction as well, obviously. So mounting this right next to your throttle or your brake, depending on what hand you want to signal with, is a lifesaver, especially on a scooter. Like I wouldn't be able to give signals while riding a scooter, so this makes me able to ride this and feel good about it and be sure that I don't put people in danger at all. Now, one thing that I have noticed and that I did run into while riding is error messages will pop up on your display. So what is normally the speed indicator will show you a number, and when you turn on the scooter, it'll start beeping, and you'll see a little wrench tool on the display, meaning there's an error code. It'll show you the error code. You can Google it, see what's wrong. Luckily, I had checked out so many videos about this thing before I bought it, so I already knew what the problem was. Basically, the handlebars, solid rubber, you can twist them and kind of pry them in and out. If they get too close to the throttle, it means that they will hinder the pressing down and releasing of throttle, more importantly, meaning if you press down the throttle and you release it, it might get stuck, which obviously is not something that you want. So the Ninebot seems to have some sensors detecting when the handlebar is too close to the speeder, and you just take a little bit and kind of yank it out. It takes 3 seconds. I've only experienced this once, but if I hadn't watched a video about it before I got the Ninebot and before I got the error message, I wouldn't know what to do, and that would have probably scared me a little bit. Now you know. My first kind of review IRL video kind of thing. I may do more of these in the future. If you do want to see a Galaxy unboxing or a review or a ride, do let me know in the comments below and I'll definitely consider it. But that's it for now. These were my thoughts on the Ninebot ES2. If you want one for yourself, definitely go pick it up. See you next time. Bye!